student loans are never going away and having a way out. It's awesome. Awesome.
What was tell me what the client's response was to that.
I believe that they were stunned. I used the phrase, well, the government has offered to stipulate to discharge, and that made my client confused. So then I had to explain that meant your student loans are going away, and then they have this around. I think there was some disbelief, and it's quite a boon, really.
Yeah, it's got to be really gratifying for you to be able to do that. Now, you were able to do this under this new legal situation that started like in November of 23, right? Is that when that all started?
November 22.
November 22. So how long have you been working with this client to, get this through the process?
Well, the case is about 10 months old. It's a little bit longer than it should have been because there was a procedural hiccup that was brought up by the government, and it sort of slowed things down. But once we got that cleared up, we got straight to business and got our result.
Hi, this is attorney Jamie Miller and my partner, Deborah Stencel, who is here to help co-host the Miller Law Chronicles podcast. We're here this week for another podcast. Thank you for joining us. Hope that you're enjoying the podcast, or I know that you're enjoying the podcast. So would appreciate it very much if you would go to your favorite podcast location, whether it's Google or Spotify or Apple or YouTube, and like or subscribe us. It's going to allow us to continue to bring amazing content. Hey, Deborah, welcome. How are you?
I am super. How are you doing?
I am good. So tell me something exciting you did this past week.
Well, I settled a big case, so that was exciting.
What was that?
It was a student loan adversary. We got rid of $77,000 in student loans for a very deserving human being. So that was exciting.
That had to be very gratifying.
It was. After 20 years of doing this, and that their student loans are never going away and having a way out. It's awesome. Awesome.
What was tell me what the client's response was to that.
I believe that they were stunned. I used the phrase, well, the government has offered to stipulate to discharge, and that made my client confused. So then I had to explain that meant your student loans are going away, and then they have this around. I think there was some disbelief, and it's quite a boon, really.
Yeah, it's got to be really gratifying for you to be able to do that. Now, you were able to do this under this new legal situation that started like in November of 23, right? Is that when that all started?
November 22.
November 22. So how long have you been working with this client to, get this through the process?
Well, the case is about 10 months old.
Okay.
It's a little bit longer than it should have been because there was a procedural hiccup that was brought up by the government, and it sort of slowed things down. But once we got that cleared up, we got straight to business and got our result. So that was great.
I love that. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I think that's just so exciting. And was the government easy to work with on it, or did they, you got them the information that they wanted and they said, yes, let's do it?
They have been very easy to work with. They do require proof. They do require taking it seriously and telling a good story, explaining the client's situation in a way that makes it make sense. So it goes back to early law school lessons about going on in a trial. You're telling a story. It's not just throwing facts at somebody. You have to make it easy for them to digest and to be on your side. So I find that the harder I work on that part of it, the better things go.
Yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations. That's a big victory for sure.
Yeah, thank you. What did you have anything exciting this week?
I had a good week. I'm up in Door County, Wisconsin right now, which is really nice. And I grew these tulips behind me. It took a couple of years. they're flourishing. I don't have to water them or anything like that, so they works out really well. But I went to see Dave Matthews at Alpine Valley
Oh, no.
last Friday, which was really fun. I went. Dave Matthews was at Alpine Valley on Friday and Saturday night. Saturday night got canceled because of the just terrible weather. And wonderfully for fans, he's coming back on Sunday night. So they canceled last Saturday night and they were able to get it rescheduled already for this Sunday night, that second show.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, yeah, so, my wife, who's now working, for the public defender's office, which I don't know if I told you that, maybe. She came home late from work on Friday, and I hadn't bought. I always buy tickets late. It's hard, tickets go on sale, and they may be for you know November of 24, and it's just so far in the future. Who knows where we're going to be? So I don't like to buy tickets early. I always buy them late. So it's Friday at 4 o'clock. I said, Felicia, let's go see Dave Matthews. She comes home tired. She goes, I don't want to go to Alpine Valley and see Dave Matthews. It's a 50-minute ride. And I've taken her to Dave Matthews before. And Felicia's not big on marijuana. And unfortunately, when you go see a Dave Matthews, or fortunately, depending where you're at on that, it is a pot den, which, by the way, it wasn't that bad. So I said, I went online and I found one ticket and I went to see Dave Matthews alone, and which was very enjoyable. And I got one ticket and I got a really good seat for really cheap. But so it was a little bit awkward. So I go there and I'm sitting between two couples that are really enjoying themselves. So I have two
Mhm.
people that are together on each side of me, and they're like looking at me like, loser, what's your problem? Like, why are you here? Where are your people? And the people to the left of me, we had a really nice time, and they were very, very friendly. People to the right said, are you a stalker or something? Or why are you here alone? Your family doesn't love you. And I said, I wasn't really honest with them. I said, we had tickets. My kids are sitting up on the lawn with my wife, and I'm just down here alone. And I was thinking, so what's wrong with being alone? But I felt like a little awkward telling them I was a loser. So how would you have handled something like that?
Well, that's interesting. I used to travel for work, and I would find that I was in cities like Phoenix or San Diego or Vegas, and that there would be a concert in town I'd want to see. And in fact, one year, Duran Duran was touring, so like 2008 maybe. And I
Did they play My Name is Rio and
so I joined the VIP club to get front row tickets in Phoenix and Vegas. So I had to work all week, and then I went to the concert, and I'm there alone with all these other women of my age. I mean, that's, it's just women, just white women
right,
in their 40s. And I did get a lot of questions because the VIP group shows up a lot earlier. I did get a lot of questions. I'm like, I'm traveling for work, and nothing was going to keep me from seeing this because I didn't get to see them as a teenager.
right,
So I covered that. I also saw U2 by myself in Chicago, where I lived at the time, because I got last minute tickets and nobody wanted to go, which is unbelievable to me. And that was the greatest concert of my life. At
I'm
what's the
sorry,
bath?
which one was the best concert of your life?
U2 at the United Center they sold the concert DVD. I think it was 2008 or 9.
Uh,
That was a great concert. And then I bought tickets for the next night and went by myself the next night. I think,
isn't that
yeah, you should just do it if you want to have fun.
Yeah, and I've done it before. And I'll go to a movie alone. I think the most awkward thing to do is go to a restaurant and sit alone.
I agree with that. I agree with that. If you have a book and can sit at the bar, although somebody nice will put you in a corner, it's okay. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. So tell me, what's going on in Milwaukee this weekend?
this weekend I am not super clear, but I do know Bastille Days are coming up July 10th. So that's our one of our many annual festivals, and that's the
I know
celebration of
that's in the
French fest.
Yes,
What'd
and
you say?
they build that beautiful Eiffel Tower on Cathedral Square,
Yeah, and
and
Kathy.
it's a very enjoyable. My sad thing about Bastille Days is that summer kind of starts in June, and then
Mm-hmm.
you hit Summerfest, and then when
Mm-hmm.
Summerfest over, it hits the realization that summer's really moving too fast, and then Bastille Days comes around July 10th every year, and it's like, oh my gosh, where is summer going?
Yeah, I mean, you theoretically have all of August, but it's summer's
You
always too.
do. Summer goes too fast, but I don't know that we need to worry about summer as much anymore because with global warming, we're good now. Winter is just irrelevant. It's just like 40 and gray is now our winter.
When I was a little girl in Wisconsin, I always had to wear a coat over my Halloween costume and worry about walking through 3 feet of snow. Now we're planning a family backyard wedding for October 13th.
So
Backyard.
nice.
Yeah,
Right. Who's getting married?
me.
Yeah, I know. That's so nice. I love that.
Uh,
I love
we,
that. What's that?
I said we put it off a few years. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Well,
yeah.
congratulations. I didn't realize you set a date.
Yeah,
That's so
like,
exciting.
yeah, yeah. No, we're excited. We're excited.
Right. I know you've been dating Matt for a while. Is this the guy you're marrying?
Yes. I was going to
Yeah.
make a joke. I decided not to. Yes, I am marrying Matt. Yes, who also is a.
Okay.
Is Felicia at the federal public defenders or the state?
The state public defender.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing we were kind of we were talking about Bastille Days. They built this new park. I saw on I read an article about it. At the Harley Davidson offices out on like West State Street, I think is
No, Juneau and Highland.
Juneau and Highland. Exactly. So they
So,
had, yeah, they're going to start having events there, which is really
yes,
nice.
it is the most gorgeous space. I haven't been there personally yet, but the pictures are fabulous and it looks like an amphitheater. It's sort of round and has a lot of benches and a lot of free space that if you were a skater, you would love. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a no skating rule, but oh my goodness, that'd be a great place to skate. And then there's a
Right.
center and you could, have concerts or Greek plays or whatever you wanted. I do love a good outdoor amphitheater. And it's just an absolutely gorgeous park.
So
Um,
nice.
yeah,
So
so
nice.
nice.
I'm glad. Is it open now? People can go look at
Yes,
it and okay. And
it
they're going to have
just
concerts and that type of
hmm
thing.
all kinds of events and festivals and things will happen there. It's really big. I think it's 4.2 acres. That's pretty big for a city park, I would assume. And it's lovely. So I'm excited about that. We have so many gorgeous outdoor spaces, and sometimes I forget to enjoy them.
I know. I know. Ask me how my puppy's doing.
I'm dying to know how your puppy is doing.
He's doing
Make it
great. He like is, he's sleeping right next to me, but he has been awesome and just doing great puppy stuff and enjoying having him in the family. So it's been a good thing.
so he's all
What do you?
potty trained.
He is potty trained, but makes mistakes.
Oh, sure.
So,
Don't we all?
so yeah, so exactly. So he will, go in the house periodically, but I can never blame him. It's always on me.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So tell me, give me some legal insights for the week.
Well, first I want to ask you a question. When you went away to law school, which was in the 90s, right?
It was, yep, I graduated in 1991, so actually started in 1988.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. How
Well,
about
actually, that's
you? When did you
10 years.
start?
You're 10 years ahead of me. I don't know why I said wow.
Right.
So, when you went to law school, what was the biggest gift you were given before going to school? You know how people give you gifts when you're going to law school?
Yes, the biggest gift that someone gave me was probably, I think when anybody's going to law school, It's a nice gift to give someone the Black's Law Dictionary with this heavy, huge book.
Yep.
And but how many times I definitely got one or two of those. How many times did you
Yes.
actually look at that book during law school? Did you use it much?
Almost, almost never. Almost never. I
Yeah.
really can't remember a specific time using it. The thing about my law dictionaries, one was given to me as a going away gift from my comedian friends. So they treated my Black's Law Dictionary like a yearbook and signed it like a yearbook and wrote things like, "Ha ha, I'm writing in your crack," in the crack of the book.
Right.
And went and found all the naughty words and circled them. So I have pawed through that to look for all the jokes. But they'd have an easier time of it now because a new version has come out, and it
Is there
has
is
all.
there is there an online version of Black's Law Dictionary? I would think
Yes,
so.
there has
Okay.
to be, because I asked my law clerk, and she did not get one as a gift before law school, or nor did she purchase one. And it's on the 13th edition or 12th edition. I can't read. 12th edition just came out, and they're $90 to $160 depending on which version you buy,
Wow.
and they're that fat now. I mean, it
Right.
was like,
Right.
but what are some of the fun new phrases that were in there? Crimigation. It's a portmanteau of criminal and immigration because there's such a nexus between criminal law and immigration law.
Okay.
So now it's apparently a common term to say crimigation. And I don't remember what this one means, but there's a new litigation term called hot tubbing. And
Hmm.
that's when, sorry, I cheated and looked it up. That's when you're having a trial, and instead of putting up your experts one at a time, you put all three experts up and they can hear each other's testimony, which is normally not allowed. I don't know what the advantage of that would be, but it's like having a panel of experts instead of just one at a time.
I never thought about that. Is are you do you have to get permission from the court to do that? There's no room to sit up there. Could be one problem. Generally, just one seat for a witness, but to be able to send three witnesses up, because I presume, because oftentimes during a trial, the parties will agree not to let more than one expert in the courtroom at a time so they don't hear each other's testimony. And I'm wondering if this hot tubbing thing is a way around that.
Well, I was familiar with the, what's the word, exclusion of witnesses or sequestration of
Right.
witnesses. In my very first trial, I used that to great advantage when I was just a little baby lawyer. But they, in this case, since they're experts, I suppose they're not going to theoretically take each other's versions of events. And so they put them up concurrently and are asked the same questions in the same order. So I suppose that makes it easier for the jury to weigh the experts against each other.
Oh, so even competing experts, so like the defense and the prosecution.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. This definition here says both parties' experts give their evidence together in the form of a discussion chaired by the judge. The judge puts the same questions to each expert in turn, and rather than each being examined and cross-examined sequentially. If you think back to like the OJ trial, remember that, or what's a more recent one that people will be familiar with, that would have saved a lot of time and helped understand the DNA stuff. Because if you're going to put expert A on for 5 days and then expert B on for 5 days, you're not going to remember day one on day 10. So that's kind of interesting.
right. Yeah, interesting. And
Hmm.
I wonder how you avoid like hearsay and all those types of things when there's more of a free flow of conversation. So are the experts speaking amongst themselves?
I doubt that they're speaking amongst themselves. Obviously, I have not personally enjoyed the use of this because I don't really use expert witnesses in what I do. But
So
I,
what would another term for that be other than hot tubbing?
concurrent, I just saw it, concurrent
No, no,
expert.
no. Right. No, I get that, but that's
Oh,
multiple words. What's a funny? Like if
oh,
you're
another
you
term.
put on your comedy hat.
Oh, um, well, do you have one in your brain?
No, no.
Because honestly, I believe you're a lot funnier than I am. expert soup,
Ah, that could be it.
evidence. I don't know. I would definitely come up with a term if I used it a lot.
Yeah, I got to think.
That
I got to think about that. I mean, because hot tubbing, that's like, who thought of that? Why? I mean, I get the use of the term and why it makes sense. Multiple people in a hot tub
yeah,
talking, but as far as a legal term that would actually make Black's Law Dictionary is shocking.
it is because it's so casual and so well. It also has negative connotations. It sounds
Right.
gross.
Exactly. Yeah. How about carpooling?
Oh, carpooling is a nice. That's lovely. You know, Black's Law Dictionary. When I did use it, it was to look up Latin. I'm almost sure,
Yeah.
and hot is a long way from Latin.
Right.
In terms
Right.
of how seriously do we take ourselves? But
How
still,
about how about riding the bus?
that's interesting. I like carpooling more because they're together.
Right.
But
How about nesting?
that's cute. Matryoshka, evident nesting dolls, or I like expert
Okay.
panel of experts. But maybe that's because that's a comedy sports game, an improv game,
Right. Right.
where you get very bad advice, very very bad advice.
So we have hot tubbing. Were there any other exciting words that are in the Black's Law Dictionary?
Well, they put in 2,500 new words, and most of them I thought were and phrases like for some reason above the law was just added this time, which I find shocking because I think we all know what it means and it's a phrase that's in common usage. And I'm not sure that a dictionary needs to define phrases of that nature, but that's one they
Right.
added. And I didn't come across any others in the list that I found particularly noteworthy. Hot tubbing was interesting, crimigation and above the law were the ones that stuck out.
Right.
I also find it interesting that they have a team of 100 people who work on this and who find the usage of the term in legal papers to decide whether it can be added, but that normal lawyers can submit suggestions.
It's interesting.
But most of them are rejected.
And that's probably where hot tubbing came from.
Yeah. Well,
A
based
lawyer.
on based on googling it does seem to be in common usage among like PI and construction litigation people, concurrent evidence, the tandem expert process, there's another one, or dueling experts. And this whole thing originated in Australia as a way of dealing with experts. And we have adopted it, apparently. So,
Very nice. Very
yeah,
nice. Um,
yeah.
well, I am going to pull this podcast to a close. I think we covered a lot of interesting topics. We really didn't hit anything bankruptcy related or personal injury. We did talk about student loans, which was really nice. And so that is good. And I want you to have a really great weekend. And I appreciate you joining me for this podcast. You did a great job today.
Thank you, Attorney Miller. It was a joy to be here.
It was good. And you're inviting anybody that listens to this podcast to your wedding on October 13th.
That is correct. That is correct. Location to be determined.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye bye.